Hey, bestsellers! Today we are going to be discussing short story. We'll be learning some tips and techniques on how to create an excellent short story, and I have a little surprise for you. I'll be running a contest where I'll be giving away a cash prize on my Patreon. So stay till the end of this video and I will give you all of the information about how to enter your short story in the Write a Story contest. Short stories, for them to succeed, you need to get your readers to care. Actually, it doesn't matter if it's flash fiction, a short story, an epic novel, you always need to get your readers to care. That is the very essence of succeeding as a writer and an author. If your hero, wins the prize, achieves their goal, all their dreams, and your readers don't care, then you'll fail to engage the reader. Likewise, if it's a tragedy, no one will care if you have one-dimensional characters or a weak premise. You need to get your readers to care, and we'll learn how to do that today. When you're writing a short story, you may just come up with an idea out of the blue. You may see a picture prompt like the contest we're discussing, or a written prompt, and you'll come up with an idea for your story. That is the theme, okay? So the theme is the idea, the big idea, the message you want to get across to your readers, any sort of moral or lesson that you want to impart. And most stories start with a theme. You can start with characters. However, I think almost always an idea for a story comes before that. So start with theme. I've heard it claimed that short stories don't need a theme. I don't see how that's possible, because I don't know how to write a story without having an idea for a story. I understand that you could write the most exciting chase in the world, or the grossest story in the world, or maybe the most boring story in the world. However, that is a theme in itself. It's the idea. So start with an engaging idea and then move to characters. In short stories, I think characters are the most important element. They can't be superficial. They can't be one-dimensional. However, I understand that we are constrained by our word count. So in a short story, your word count is going to be somewhere between 2,000 to 5,000 words. How do you create a nuanced character if you're limited to a very short form? Well, you develop the characters outside of the story is how you do it. Again, if there's success, there's failure. No one's going to care if they don't identify with the characters. I like to kind of think of an AI bot. I'm a tech kind of gal. So I imagine sort of a blank, like a dummy, a mannequin, an AI that I'm going to layer with character traits, personality, and all of that. We have our blank. We turn up judgment and logic or down. We have compassion, up and down. We have the basic character traits, personality traits that are inherent temperament. With just that, you have sort of a robotic, uncanny character. What you need to do to make it deep is the backstory, the environment that the character grew up in, trauma sprinkled around, formative experiences, their first love, their first kiss, who they admire, their goals, obstacles that they've encountered. So you need to layer in that whole life of experience to make the character rich and round. As I said, you're not going to put any of this in the story, but you create that character and then take the character and put them in the story, in the setting, and in the plot, and you'll be able to convey these traits through their dialogue, through their action, through their physicality. So, a nuanced, layered character. Now, if you're a minimalist, you might want to do it in some gestural strokes, very quick. Or if you really like description, you can layer it with all the nuance of Rembrandt. However, you need to get the readers to care. Okay, so you got your character. Next up is the setting. I like to use, for an example of how to write great settings, the genre of horror. And the reason I like to use horror is because it is such the polar opposite of what we find comfortable. So what I'd like you to do is imagine a really comfy, cozy, your ideal environment. You could be sitting in front of a fireplace, drinking a cup of tea, you have a dog at your feet. It's lovely, right? And then flip it, make it as opposite as you can. So it's dank and mildewy smelling and disgusting and cold, and you're uncomfortable and it hurts and it's dark. So there you see, okay, so you have polar opposites. When creating settings, you're going to take something like a kitchen or a bedroom. I like to take a kitchen. A kitchen, you can make it a contemporary kitchen, a horror kitchen. Now start doing like a noir detective kitchen, okay? Bachelor or bachelorette. Empty refrigerator, sink full of dishes. For another genre, let's take my favorite. I like tech thrillers, okay? So a kitchen in a tech thriller would probably have some sort of holographs, nutritional information scrolling in the air. The type of food might be something that you would apply to your skin. So with short stories, they're wonderful because they're so experimental and it's not a big commitment of time. So you can play with genre. I have a favorite genre. However, with short stories, I can try a romance. I can try a cozy. I can try, something that I would never really spend a whole novel writing and play with it. So do that with your kitchen. Write a cozy kitchen. Write a mystery kitchen. Write a horror kitchen. Write a contemporary kitchen. All right. So your setting. In short stories, you're probably only going to have one or two settings. I used to make the mistake when writing short stories. I took Richard Thomas's class on Lit Reactor. He's an amazing short story teacher. I would always do vignettes and he would say, that's a vignette, that's a vignette. And I'm like, what does he mean that's a vignette? Well, because I didn't want to waste time, I would normally try to write a chapter or scene for a novel I was working on and just make it really, really amazing, really dial in on the character and the setting and the theme and the plot. But it was just a scene plucked out of a larger story. Therefore, it was vignette. Vignettes can be as beautiful as poems, just really lovely and crafted well. However, they're not really short stories. And that brings us to the plot section. Well, with short stories, you can be experimental. And it's wonderful to have beginner's mind, okay? In your writer's journey, you will start with beginner's mind. You'll just be passionate about writing and you'll just write, right? Then you're going to learn all of the rules and the structure. Once you become a master, you can leave them or take them. You can, play with the basic shapes of stories, the structure. At this point, I'm assuming we're probably at the beginner's mind stage or in the learning of the rules. So what I want to say is that in many of my videos, we've talked about the basic structure of Freytag's pyramid, which is the inciting incident, rising action, climax, midpoint, falling action, reversal into the finale, and then the denouement. All the elements of story should be in there. You need to layer in the conflict, the stakes, tension, It could be romantic tension. It could be a danger tension. You take your character, they're in their setting, they have a goal, you have your themes that you're trying to bring across to the readers, giving them the message, right? If you get all of these elements in there and craft your words very well, you are sure to come up with a pretty darn good short story. Okay, so that brings us to the contest. We're going to take those techniques, those tips, and apply them. If you would like to join the contest cycle on my Patreon, go to patreon.com/kittyturner, join at the Write a Story tier, and you'll be getting a picture prompt each month. So there's a picture prompt for November. If you're watching this at upload, you still have a few weeks to get that story in. You will post it to the bestseller list publication on Medium, and when you join, I will add you to that publication, and then the community will vote on the stories. So you can get your friends, your family, other people in the bestseller list community to applaud. They can applaud up to 50 times for your story. The person who gets the most applause wins the cash prize, which is a pool. It is half of the membership for that tier for the month. So yes, please visit Patreon for all the details of that contest. I thought it would be a fun way for us to practice our new techniques. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you guys in the next video.